με το entry γιατί δεν είδαμε αυτό εδώ πέρα το 15. Fair value gap εδώ με εδώ που θα μας έβαζε, λες να έχουμε πάλι μια ευκαιρία. Θα βάζουμε λίγο πάνω λίγο spread. Μπορεί να μπει απλά στο order block και να σφεντονιστεί. Θα το προχωρήσω στο load, μήπως μπούμε. Ωραία, τώρα είναι ξεκινάει το μάκρο τώρα. Για να δούμε. Και έχουμε βάλει το δεύτερο μας order στο FVG το 5 λεπτό. Που είναι ένα πολύ καλό entry. Δεν μας βάζει ποτέ. Ποτέ. Τώρα δεν δείχνει τίποτα. Τέλος πάντων, τι δείχνει. Το ρίσκο πολύ. Δυστυχώς. Τι παίρνουμε εδώ. Το stop είναι εδώ κάτω. Να δούμε. Να δούμε τι μπορεί να έχουμε. Ελπίζω να τα δείχνει σωστά. We're going bananas now. Μας βλέπω για auto buy. Τώρα να το πάρεις αυτό για breaker block, έσκασε εδώ κάτω, έσκασε 15. Καλό φαίνεται σε price action. Ας είμαστε σε ένα μέσα απλά για να παίξουμε. Stop-loss εδώ κάτω. Θέλουμε στα 18.60. Και ό,τι γράψει. Δεν θέλουμε σίγουρα να την πάρει. Μπορεί να την πάρει εδώ κάτω. Δεν θέλουμε να πέσει κάτω από αυτό εδώ σίγουρα. Να κλείσει candle. Εκεί θα είναι foul το trade μας. Ωραίο trade φαίνεται αυτό. Θα δούμε. Okay. Πριν τις 10 δεν θα ήθελα να παίρνω trade. Αλλά θα δούμε. Αυτό θα το βγάλω. Έχει νόημα πλέον. Με αυτές οι κάτω τιμή το έχουμε χάσει όλα. Πάμε για άλλο liquidity. Τώρα κανονικά θα έπρεπε να μπω στο break even. Γιατί όμως? Στα 5 λεπτά δεν θα έπρεπε. Γιατί δεν θέλουμε η τιμή. Δεν θέλουμε η τιμή να κλείσει κάτω από αυτό το candle εδώ. Αυτό που μπήκαμε ουσιαστικά. Να κλείσει. Άμα κλείσει, είναι ψηλό fail. Ήταν ένα καλό re-entry εκεί πέρα, πιστεύω. Θα το αφήσουμε το stop loss όπως έχει. Για να δούμε αν πάμε και έτσι 10 η ώρα χωρίς να είμαστε down. Θα είναι πολύ καλό. Τώρα αν έτσι πως παίρνουμε το liquidity συνεχίσουμε προς τα κάτω. Τώρα θέλουμε ένα higher high. Αυτό το candle θέλουμε να γίνει higher high. Αν γίνει higher high είμαστε πολύ καλά. Επίσης θα ήθελα να δω όταν έκλεισε αυτό το candle, επειδή πολλοί τρέινταρουν έτσι, εμείς θέλουμε να πάμε έτσι πως τρέινταρουν όλοι και να δούμε που θα έφτανε η τιμή. Βλέπω την τιμή να φτάνει μέχρι 18.090, δηλαδή κάπου εδώ πάνω, οπότε είμαστε safe με το take profit μας. Τώρα αυτό το candle θέλουμε να γίνει καινούριο high high, με γίνει καινούριο high high είμαστε ωραίοι. Κάπως έτσι. Και θέλουμε στις 10 η ώρα να δούμε την τιμή να εξφεντονίζεται. Θέλουμε να δούμε κάποιο fair value gap, θέλουμε να δούμε λίγο πίεση, θέλουμε να δούμε λίγο έτσι. Λίγο σεξ. Όχι, δεν ξέρω αν μπορώ να πω τη σύλλεξη εδώ. Τώρα αυτό είναι order block, θα ήθελα να δω άλλο ένα για να προχωρήσω το stop loss μου, αλλά στραγκλάρουμε πάρα πολύ, δυστυχώς. Πέφτουμε. Εδώ κλείνουμε κάτω από το order block, που σημαίνει ότι παίζει και να έχουμε και reversal. Θα προσπαθήσουμε να κλείσουμε το position μας. Αν μας ξαναδώσει αυτό το τέτοιο εδώ πέρα, στην ανάποδη μεριά. Γιατί βλέπουμε πίεση. Έχουμε πίεση από την άλλη μεριά. Πιέζεται το κακόμοιρο. Μα κλείσει από κάτω. Κλείσουμε σίγουρα από κάτω. Το κλείνουμε γιατί βλέπουμε δύναμη για προς τα κάτω. Πήρε το liquidity. Κάναμε το break εδώ πέρα, τώρα θα κλείσει αυτό το candle αρνητικό σίγουρα. Οπότε το κλείνουμε το trade μας. Τώρα αυτό θα μου πεις είναι στη όλο αυτό. Για να δούμε πως θα γίνει play out, θα το κρατήσουμε λίγο. Το stream. Αυτό. Το κακό είναι ότι χάσαμε το αρχικό trade. Αυτό είναι το μόνο κακό, δηλαδή από αρχή είδαμε. Λοιπόν, τι είδαμε από αρχή? Στο Nasdaq. Daily liquidity 1, 2. Δεν έχει γίνει ακόμα swap. Έγινε αυτό όμως. Γι' αυτό κοιτάξαμε το trade. Έτσι. Το άλλο δεν έχει γίνει. Μπορεί να γίνει τώρα στις 10 η ώρα. Λοιπόν. Τι έχουμε τώρα στο 15 λεπτό? Έχουμε ένα order block εδώ κάτω. Το έχουμε χρησιμοποιήσει μια φορά βέβαια. Έχουμε στο 15 λεπτό fair value gap εδώ. Να το. 15 λεπτό. 5 λεπτό. Order block 5 λεπτό. Και 5 λεπτό με MSS. Περιμένουμε να δούμε τα reactions. Τώρα δεν θα μπορούσα να μπω ένα short. Τι ήρθε, πήρε όλο. Τι εδώ πέρα, κάτσε να ρωτήσω αυτά γιατί παραπάει. Break. Καθαρό το σαπτάκι. Και θα σημαδεύαμε είτε αυτό το liquid εδώ, που είναι πάλι re-entry, είτε αυτό εδώ κάτω, που εκεί θα θέλω να ξαναμπω σε trade για long. Και είμαστε και στην ώρα μας, έτσι. 10 με 11. Για δούμε. Θα γίνει play out. Μας ξαναδώσει entry για short. Στο breaker. Στο plus όλο. Καλά, πολύ κακό. Risk to reward. Θα το βάλουμε μόνο για να υπάρχει. Στα data. Νομίζω ότι μπορούμε να το υποστηρίξουμε έτσι κι αλλιώς, ενώ δεν φτάσει πάλι τιμή εκεί πάνω. Θα δούμε. Έχουμε και news σήμερα, είναι λίγο χάλια ημέρα γενικά. Θα έλεγε κάποιος. Μπήκαμε στο trade. Τώρα θέλω να λέω κάτι ότι πομπομ. Πάρει όλα τα liquidity, πήρε και αυτό. Δεν με τα κάνει. Μπήκαμε στο μονόλεπτο fair value gap. Στο αρχικό trade είχαμε το stop loss κάτω από εδώ. Κάτω εδώ. Τι δεν είναι, έτσι. Κάτω από εδώ. Το είχαμε δηλαδή εδώ. Μ' αρέσει αυτό που είναι full screen. Ωραία. Και να έχω τα άλλα δίπλα-δίπλα. Τώρα αυτό το σημείο εδώ πέρα δεν μας ενδιαφέρει, γιατί θα ξανάρθει σίγουρα η τιμή από εδώ κάτω. Είναι σίγουρα αυτό. Πολύ τσόπη κατάσταση. Τα νομίσματα μας που παίζουμε στο ποτάκι και τα τρία είναι σε bleed. Πάμε να τα δούμε και αυτά λίγο. Μέχρι να έχουμε κάτι νεότερο στην τιμή. Σε 3 ώρες έχουμε και FMC. Λοιπόν, OutCAD, έχουμε ένα TP εδώ πάνω. Δύσκολο. Πρέπει να ανέβει πολύ. NGDCAD, και αυτό πρέπει να ανέβει πολύ. Εδώ βλέπουμε ένα bounce στο OutNGD. Για να δούμε πώς θα πάει αυτό. Τα τρία είναι σκληρά. Πρέπει να πέσει πολύ. Βλέπουμε ένα fair value και από εδώ πέρα μικρούλι. Μικρούλικο. Έχουμε break. Do you have a break? Do we have a break here? Να έρθουμε για αυτό το fair value και από εδώ πέρα. ξέρω αν κάνει το ένα και το άλλο, θα μάθουμε τώρα. Ναι, κάνει το ένα και το άλλο, οκ. Εντάξει, γιατί έχουμε δύο κόντρα και έχουμε μπει. Choppy day. Στα 6 λεπτά βγάλαμε, τέλειο. Όλη την ανάλυση από ένα άλλο PC. Όπως φαίνεται. Πεντακάθαρα είναι. Δούμε γιατί delay έχουμε. Full delay. Έχει πάρα πολύ delay. Ωραία. Θα ανοίξω λίγο τη λίκα, τι να υπάρχει από πίσω.
What's to mind when I did those types of things. That's why I tell my students when you're journaling, you sweet talk yourself. You're your best friend. You're your comforting counselor like you're in school and you have a problem or whatever. I would feel that it's very hard for me to wrestle my emotions. Broken family, all kinds of stuff, and going through puberty, all these things as a kid. No one sat me down and said I was going to experience all this stuff, and I felt like I wanted to act out violently. So, talking to yourself like you're a counselor, you know yourself. You know what you want to hear. You know how to console yourself, but you also know how to rev yourself up. Just think about what that last girlfriend did to you. Look at what that guy did at work and got the promotion, and what you did in response to the boss's expectations. They got the promotion, but you did more work and you weren't identified. It's real easy for you to get stirred up. Think about that person made a comment on your Twitter post. Think about that person that talks about your trading results, even though you're making money, but they're talking nonsense. But they bring nothing to the table to show a contrary opinion. But it's easy to get revved up. So in your journal, you always sweet talk yourself. And when you have an opportunity to encourage yourself to do something different or address something that's problematic, to say, I appreciate this day because it gives me the opportunity to identify a very specific thing that I need to correct in my learning. Versus, man, I screwed up and I lost today. I'm never going to get this. This is bullshit. Your journal is not a place to complain about yourself. As soon as you put thought to it, number one, you've already anchored it to your subconscious. If you write it out, you've recorded it outwardly. You made a decision to record it outside of your thought. You've recorded it. So you anchored it now, not only psychologically, but now it's emotionally anchored. So what if you made reference to that your subconscious is going to revert back to when you take the next trade? That emotional stimuli that you've placed on something that you can't change or go back and redo. You have no idea the compounding influence that has on a negative perspective. And you have to constantly reassure yourself that what you're doing is a growth process. And you encourage yourself along the way. And anything that was adverse, something that was hard to do today, or the opportunity, or something that came out, you need to teach yourself how to see the example of learning from that without pain. And you always record the fact that you say, I'm thankful, or I appreciate, or I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to learn this without having any monetary loss. I don't feel physical pain from this, but I can take from this experience the ability to see how if I don't identify these consistently, this could be detrimental to me and cause drawing. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity not to experience that today. So what you've done is, yeah, you identified you did something wrong, or you didn't observe something, but you're not beating yourself up. Like if you take it to social media, no one's going to encourage you on social media because nobody on social media wants you to do better than them. It's just like your friends and family. And it sounds ugly, but that's what we are as humans. We're ugly little creatures that don't like to see other people do well. But I want to see you do well. I really want to see you many times. My interest in your success is more than yours. All have that mindset that they had to come up to my level of expectation of themselves because their expectation was too low. Their energy level was too low. Their study and time that they were wanting to put forth into this wasn't enough. And they were expecting immediate gratification, immediate results. Well, it's all bullshit. And it's not like that at all. Like anything, it's going to take effort and it's going to take time. But you're trying to learn the hardest thing in the world, which is master yourself with a monetary reward or punishment. Man, you can't get anything more complex than that. The only thing that's more complex than that is taking a one bullet, put it in a revolver, spin it around, and put it to your temple and click it. That's the only thing that outdoes this in terms of measuring the absolute pain and outcome. Because that's what you're doing. You're playing that game here, Russian roulette, with your money, one trade at a time. Because that one trade, while initially you might have a stop loss that has an X amount of money that's a percentage of your equity total, if you don't get the response that you wanted, the end, you're going to spin the revolver cylinder again and click it again until you blow your brains out and your account's gone. You won't go into that trading day wanting that to happen. No one ever really wants that. Yeah, today's the day I want to blow my account. That's not how that works. But it always, after the fact, when you're sitting here in torment, like, I could have stopped. I told myself, don't take another trade. But you were pissed off. And you need an outcome. And many of you need a hard stop where you're completely removed from it because you can't control yourself. And that's what blowing your account is. And subconsciously, that's what you want. because what you're saying subconsciously is, I can't control myself. Please let me lose the money so that way I ain't got to do this anymore. And for some of you, that just hit a nerve. When I was 20, I felt that multiple times. I wanted to feel like I couldn't do it at all, so therefore I don't have to do any more effort to try to make it work. It gives me the perfect excuse why I don't have to try anymore. But I tried. And I saved up money. I delivered pizza. And I delivered subs. And I did dumb stuff to get money. To get it all raised up again. And I funded another account. And try. But subconsciously, I wasn't equipped. No one was encouraging me. No one was encouraging me while I first started. It didn't happen like that. And I tried to be practical, but yet firm with you as a listener, as a constant reader, as a student, that these are the realities of this. And the expectation you have in yourself as a trader, or the market's yielding itself to you, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't owe you a payout simply because you spent time in front of these charts. They're not worshiping at an altar of the price action God that says, you worship me enough and paid enough alms to me, so now I'm going to bestow upon you bountiful blessings in terms of monetary reward. It doesn't work like that. It's war. It's war. It's internal and it's external. You're competing with the most ruthless people on the planet, and now more than ever, it's never been this corrupt. It's never been this in your face. In your face. F you. I'm going to do whatever I can to hurt, victimize everyone else because they can. So it's very complex, but it's the easiest thing you'll ever do. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do. Push a button, if you're right, you make money. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on before that pressing of that button. There's a whole lot of other factors that happen once you press that button. It's the hardest easy money you'll ever make. So the only combat tactic that you can employ is, you have the ability, okay? You have the ability to limit how much, barring some kind of, geopolitical or wartime event where obviously the market could just go and it's 500 points away from where it's at right now. Drop a nuclear bomb somewhere and watch how fast this market will forget all about daily limits. It'll be completely outside of the norm. Okay? And you're about to see that, by the way. Just let you know that. And if you can control, barring that example there, you have control of that. You have control of how often and how much you're willing to risk on any given transaction or trade. And how does your mind think right now, at the time of this discussion we're having here, or lecturing really, because you're not talking to me, how much are you computing and calculating when you're trying to take a trade right now? What is it based on? How much you can make, or how much you can keep yourself from losing? We already know. We already know that you're not thinking about how much I can prevent the maximum of loss, and what's the least I can lose, and still find profitability. See, nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. They're all saying, okay, I have X amount of money in my account, so therefore I can afford to trade this much leverage because this is what I can afford. And if I can, that means if I'm right, I can make as much as I possibly can based on the maximum leverage that the trade can be used to be applied to that individual setup. And that's wrong. Every single time as a young man I blew an account, I did those same things. And they were the constant things I was doing, always. And the second thing that you're in control of, but you lose sight of this, how frequently and when you take the next trade. It's imperative you understand that when I was journaling, when I first started journaling, they were all negative. Like I was beating myself up constantly, and that's one of the things I grew most from is not being toxic in my self-evaluation.
Εδώ δεν έχει FVG.
I removed all that stuff, and when I learned how to manage anxiety, and I had agoraphobia when I was a younger man. One of the coping skills that you use to overcome that is first Jesus Christ. Get rid of that. But the the physical things that I had to do to help cope was doing simple things of trying not to think negative and speaking negative. And Lucinda Bassett was the lady I bought the books from. If you have any sense of anxiety while you're trading, or unrealistic fear, or generalized anxiety, I would recommend any of her books. She lived with the same thing that I was going through, but it's self-inflicted. Like no one wakes up or is born with this stuff. You learn to be anxious. You learn to be a toxic thinker. You learn that. It doesn't happen overnight. It's just, we do it all the time. And one of the things that she said in her book was, count how many times you think of something negative in a day. As soon as you think of something negative, put a little check mark, on a piece of paper or something to that effect. And the average person thinks negative thoughts about themselves or something that they're going to be involved in over 300 times a day. And then you look at what the media does. What's the news tell you? Nothing good. It's always bad, bad, bad. This is dying. Someone's died. Someone's murdered. Someone stole something. Someone blew up. Somebody's fridge and somebody's steak got this, knocked off, and out there people died. They're never telling you, hey, you know what? You're all doing a good job in this area. Well, why won't they do that? Because they're negative sells, and they want to sell advertising time. So if I'm trying to do something difficult, and I apologize if you hear my landscaping outside, but I'm going to keep talking. I feel good about doing this. I've been bottled up, man. It's been months. I had to get this out of my chest. So many times I want to talk about some stuff. But when we think about these negative thoughts and we put it in our journal, we're making mountains out of molehills. And when we stop doing those things and we identify the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm human. You're human. You're going to make mistakes, but you have to find a way to encourage. Like, for instance, if you have a child, when your child is first learning how to ride a bike, okay, everybody wants their child to get on the bike and pedal and just know how to ride a bike, okay. Deadbeat dads, they want to just be able to get out there for maybe 5 minutes and hold the seat, and they ain't got to worry about it anymore. I was emotionally, psychologically invested in making sure my kids knew how to do this. I prepared them. I told them, I said, look, it's going to be scary, okay? You're going to be pedaling, and you're going to be thinking about how it's going to hurt if you fall down. But I want you to identify the fact that even when you do learn how to ride a bike, dads broke bones trying to jump over tires, and ramps and stuff, because you are not just happy with riding the bike. Like in anything in life, you say, okay, well, I've done this, let me expand my reach. So it's not enough to be enjoying the safety of riding the bike responsibly. Now we have to jump 3 tractor-trailer tires and light the tires on fire and do so with a t-shirt doused in gasoline and try not to get burned. That's the stupid stuff we did in the Middle River. It was stupid, and I ended up breaking a finger and chipping a bone in my wrist. Okay, so even though I knew how to ride a bike, I was doing things that were not sane. Okay, like the rest of the kids in the neighborhood, we did daredevil stuff. So I told them, as long as you understand that what you're trying to do, and you ride responsibly, you wear your helmet, your knee pads, and your gloves, if you fall down, you might hurt yourself a little bit, but even when you do learn how to ride the bike well, you still have the risk of that happening. So that's never going to go away. Do you still want to ride the bike? Yes, Dad. Okay, good. Then when you're riding the bike, I'm going to be holding the seat for you. But then you lie. You're going to lie to your child. I got you, son. I got you, daughter. You're not holding it. Your hand's there, pantomiming. Why? Because you're giving them the chance to trust what they're doing works. And when you're journaling, you're doing that same thing. That self-talk is lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself that you are not feeling pain that day because you did something wrong or you didn't do something right. That's two different things, by the way. It sounds like the same thing, but it's not. And when you journal, you'll discover what that is. But you're sweet talking yourself
Tą
constantly.
marketingiem to
You're
obuczysz
encouraging
mnie.
yourself. You're counseling yourself. It's okay. Everybody has hardships.
Skam nie
Everybody's
będzie
going to lose
dlatego.
money. Everyone's going to miss opportunities. It's going to be harder than you thought it was going to be. It's going to take you longer to get there. But you constantly feed yourself positive self-talk. Say, hey, I'm going to get this. No matter my water, unless I'm not breathing and I'm not here in this plane of existence, then I'm not going to stop doing this because I want to do this. Because I want to do it. Not because I want to make money, because that's not enough of a driving force to do this. I promise you that if you just want to make money, that's not going to be the thing that keeps you in this. Because if it was, why do all these folks out there that never make money still keep trying to do it? It's something beyond the money. And if they just apply the right approaches to learning, and they manage their emotions and the psychology around learning how to do this and manage their expectations and make it realistic, they have a far better chance of enjoying the process of learning. And when they arrive, it won't be like, man, this was so hard to get here. Because they'll be much more well-rounded as a person, as a trader. And understanding those dynamics going into this is really important. And I spend a lot of time in all my lectures talking about it. And until the students that try to use my concepts try to do it without that mindset going into it, and then they suffer because they don't know what they're doing or even how to handle themselves when they had just one adverse result, or one result that was not in the direction or in the manner they expected, or in other words, it was not a positive return because they impulsively did something. 99% of the times when I have students say, I tried this, it didn't work. Okay, show me your trade. What did you do? What was your pre-market analysis? What was you expecting? None of them, most of the time, had a pre-market expectation. They were just reacting. They saw the first fair value gap, or they saw the first relatively equal lows or highs, and they think, well, they're on the chart, so therefore it has to go there. No. Go back to what I was saying, that cookie cutter. That cookie cutter is your model. How does it start? You have to be on a higher time frame chart, weekly chart. That weekly chart that's going to pan out this week or the week that's come, if you're looking at a market for the weekend, like it's not trading during Friday night into all the way to Sunday morning. Sunday, we have the markets open up like a nap, but during that dead time, when there is no market activity, you have to know what you're trying to do, what you're aiming for. Otherwise, you're like a boat without a rudder. Wherever the wind's going to carry you, the current, oh, this is where it got me. You don't want to have that mindset as a trader. You want to know what you're aiming for and only use your model as your rudder to navigate that same current and those same winds that are going to be blowing with everybody else out there in the marketplace. You're going to navigate it the way your model requires you to do so. And if you can't get to that destination because the current or the winds of the market say, no, you're not getting this way, you're not going to get here today, then you're content with, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to go out there and wreck my boat. I'm not going to sink my boat trying to force something that can't happen that day because the currents are not going to allow for it. Cruise ships, think about it. They're not saying, where's the hurricane? Because I want to go right there. We want to give these people a real experience today. Nobody's doing that. No cruise lines out there saying, where's the worst weather we can drive these people through? Because unless the boats are rocking, they ain't having a good time. So, in trading, you're going to have those times where you navigate these storms, and that's going to prevent you from making money. And it may take money from you. And guess what? If you're not prepared for that, it sucks. And it's going to cause you to be fearful or not willing to take the same measured risk, the same setup that your model calls for the next opportunity that it presents itself. You'll be too fearful of the last transaction's outcome. And you're going to immortalize the way you feel physically and emotionally, psychologically, every possible negative thought or experience about it, and you're going to place that in your journal. And now you solidified that as a traumatic experience, and now you have PTSD for something that doesn't kill you. Trading's not killing you, but I have friends that are no longer here because they allowed their results, not the market, their results, trying to chase Bollinger Bands. And insisting that was the thing for it, and they didn't want to be here anymore because of that. That's not someone that's a bad trader. That's someone that's not in control and responsible with themselves. It would have been no different if they would have had their money and went to the casinos all the time, and the outcome would have been the same, because they did not have a stable mindset, and their results in trading was simply the catalyst that would have happened with anything they would have done. So you have to be very guarded with your expectation, the influence you're receiving outwardly. The worst thing you can do is tell anybody you're learning how to trade. Don't ever tell anybody that, because you're going to get all the worst advice from people that don't even do it. They've never, oh, you're going to never, okay, so you're trading for, no, that's why I won't tell you to do it, because I won't do it. Oh, every one of my family members said that. Every one of my friends said that. And you go online and you're asking strangers to give you their opinion about your choice of learning to do this. And they're the same people working at Jiffy Lube. Same people that can't make their bills every week and they're miserable. And they want to have someone feel like they listened to their advice. And that makes them significant. In this industry, everybody's a smartass. Everybody has an opinion that matters. But so few of them should be listened to. You shouldn't be listened to at all if you're really going to be diligent. You learn a method? Okay, wonderful. But while you're trying to do something in the marketplace, you should have no outside influence. Don't ask anybody's opinion. What do you think is going to be bullish or bearish? Unless you're trying to support the idea from a sentiment perspective. But let's be honest, most of you aren't doing that as a new trader. You're looking for someone that you think will win. They probably know what they're doing because they showed something yesterday, or someone's talking about this person made this much money, so therefore I'm going to trust their view on the marketplace today, and I'm going to put money behind it. And if I make money, I'm going to tell my friends I made money. But you're not going to tell them you copied that person down to the letter of what they did. And that's shameful, because what you're doing is the same thing that everybody does when they cowtail and they follow the leader. I don't want to follow the leader. I want leaders. I want people that go out there and say, I'm doing this on my own. I don't care that ICT isn't making videos anymore. I don't care that ICT isn't doing mentorships anymore. I don't care if he ever puts his books out. I don't care if he ever does anything. Because I know exactly what I'm doing right now. I put the work in, my results, I earned these results. So it is what it is. I don't need anybody else's outside influence. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm like. All of you have that. It's not arrogance. It's not conceited, pompous perspective. That's independence. That's confidence. That's something that you can't purchase, and nobody can take it from you. Nobody can take it from you. Who's gonna take the ability for you to make money using a model that you have employed for months and years, and you stop working, and you're consistently able to weather the storm of losing periodically, drawing down, and then coming back out of that drawdown, and then coming to the point of net positive for the end of the year? You pay your taxes on that money, you start a new year, you do it all over again. Is someone going to be able to tell you anything when you're at that position? Who's going to tell you you did it wrong? Who's going to tell you what you're doing is wrong, or it's not good enough? No, you're not even going to give them time of the day. You're not even going to worry about it. You're going to close these people, shut them down immediately. Like, dude, go somewhere else. Ma'am, take it somewhere else. I ain't got time for that. My profitable students don't entertain the thoughts and opinions of other people. They don't worry about it. But you're doing that in the beginning stages, whether you're learning from me or learning from someone else. You're like a sponge in the worst way. Any opportunity to have outward criticisms. You're thinking, I know I'm going to get some bad criticisms, but I might get somebody to say what I'm doing is good. What does that mean? You're looking for a cheerleader. In trading, you don't want a cheerleader. You want everybody to stay out of your damn business. Your business is your business. As soon as you allow and invite the opportunity for someone else to critique you, you might as well listen to everything they say. Don't be selective. Don't be selective and say, well, I like to see what they say about me once in a while. No, you must submit to everything they say. Because if you let your guard down and you take any influence from anyone else's expectations or opinion of you, you stepped out of the driver's seat and let them drive your ship, your car, your cruise ship. And believe me, they're looking for the storms to drive you. Ready to go. You're going to have hardships because they are living in the storm constantly. That's where they live. They live like that. And if they can ruffle the feathers or take you out of your comfort zone of consistently profitable, doing what you're doing, even though you're not 100% strike rate, your strike rate is 100%, you're profitable. Profitable students are not worried about other people's opinions. They're not asking their opinion about the market. They don't, at the beginning, it feels counterintuitive to not feel like, let me ask these other people that have more information about what they're doing and how they trade. Because you think that's a shortcut. And what you're doing is you're feeding all of this, it's applying more cement, okay? And your tears of frustration mix with that cement and you build walls that you're going to have to break down, or they're going to be strong enough and formidable enough that you can't pass through. And you never arrive at the destination you have in front of you. When you first sat down and you want to learn how to trade, you had a goal in mind. I want to quit my job. Wonderful. Wonderful objective. Is it going to happen right away? Nope. Nope. It don't happen. Eventually, done the right way over a period of time, you get to that point. What's the differentiation between getting there and not getting there? Bringing your circle of influence down to just, if anybody outside yet meets your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, your present job, your friends and your family, people you know on the internet, or maybe the people that you don't know, have the ability to leave comments in your timeline. If any one of those individuals or collective groups of people had any influence over you and how you think and how you feel, if you feel an emotional response to them, whether it's they give you a compliment, like, yeah, bullshit, get rid of it. If they allow, or you allow rather, them to give you criticism, that they may say, this is constructive criticism. Okay, are you self-employed? Are you making the money outside of a 9-to-5 job where you are in a position where you can tell me your constructive criticism? Because you're not in a position to give me any criticism at all because you're not even doing what I'm doing. If you allow for that, you are inviting, laying the red carpet out for people to deter you from your objective. But it doesn't feel like that when it's happening. Because what you're looking for, just like when you tell your friends, just like when you tell your family members and your spouse, hey bro, we've been going to school since so-and-so, we're friends, right? We're telling you, I just want to let you know what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing this trade, let me do this, I'm going to do that. Okay, what's he going to tell you? It sounds crazy, I'm sure it's going to look like that. Yeah, you said you wasn't going to do that. And let's leave it at that. But what's going to happen is, they're going to tell you every reason why you shouldn't do it, because what they're feeling is, oh crap, they got a sense of desire to come out of where we're at right now. They don't have it. They don't have an avenue to get out of where they're at. They're content. They're complacent right now. Right where they're at, they're comfortable. And you make a decision that you're not comfortable where you're at. You need to elevate. And that decision to finally make a move to change where you are in life, and you want to go higher, you want more. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not simple to want more. That's not simple. We're not supposed to live in lack. We're not supposed to have contention with ourselves and wrestle with, we don't have enough. Because if you don't have what it takes to take care of your family, that's horrible. And a person lives by their work. They eat. If a person doesn't work, they don't eat. Let me tell you something. Anybody tells you that trading ain't work, never traded before. This takes more work. I have surgeons as students. Okay? Brain surgeons as students. And from their own lips said, this is the most difficult thing I've ever had to learn. These people cut on human beings' brains and keep them alive. To me, I think that what they're doing is harder, but from their lips. But you listen to some jackleg ass on social media say, "Oh, you're never going to learn how to do this, or you'll never survive at this, or this doesn't work, that doesn't work." And these people don't do anything. They're working at Jiffy. The guy listening knows exactly what I'm talking to. But the bottom line is this: you're allowing these nobodies to give you input that you're going to elevate to a level of importance when it's not important at all. Because you're trying to look for someone to cheerlead. Because you're thinking, I'm going to filter out all of the adverse criticism. If I get 50 comments that are highly critical, that it's going to be impossible for you to find success in any of this. If you just listen to find one that says, I believe you're going to do it, that's what you're looking for. And that's wasted effort and time. When you do that for yourself in your own journaling, you cut out all the bullshit. Think about how much time you listen.
Δεν θα πρέπει να έχουμε επισκεφθεί αυτά
Don't have
εδώ.
your best interests. These people on social media,
Άντε βλέπω αυτό δεν μας κάτσει.
they're like vampires.
Να δούμε. Μπορούμε να
And
κάνουμε
if you respond to them
κάτι.
and you give them energy back, you just elevated them out of the mire of Jiffy Lube. They can't even get an overtime hour to pay for Netflix this week. But they're going to be on the internet pounding, constantly telling you, you can't do this, you won't do that. I've had lots of students that were influenced by other people negatively telling me them things. And I've had students that had that initially, and I told them what I'm telling you here. Now they're profitable. What changed? The concepts didn't change. The markets didn't change. They didn't trade new models. They didn't go into a different market. They didn't stop trading one asset class to another. They let no outside influence in. Because your spouse isn't going to believe you. Your friends aren't going to believe you. And your family doesn't want to see you do better than them. Because they are going through life just like you are. And they would
Θα αφήνουμε
like
έτσι και
to
τη βγει.
win the lottery. They would like to have something better fall in your lap. But they don't want to put the work and effort into it.
Και κλείνουμε.